Welcome to a Top 5 Tuesday as you are watching Brooks Blogging. Let me get comfortable in this seat and talk a little bit about what we introduced on our show today. It was a great day for football, especially considering that we had Monday Night Football last night, and it was college football at that, as Boise State took on Virginia Tech, and I thought it was a fantastic game. Both teams fought hard, tooth and nail, and gave everything that they had, and that was evident in the 33-30 score that came down to the last drive where Virginia Tech was unable to answer what Kellen Moore did as he drove his team down the field. He was spectacular. Now, hey, let's dive into this topic. Our top 5 today was our top 5 BCS busters. I have, of course, Nevada coming in at number 3, TCU at number 2, and Boise State clearly is number 1 from what I saw last night. This is a talented football team. Ton of California talent, and you look at their starting lineups, they have certainly found a way to get into the California recruiting area and pool, and have taken full advantage of their success. Since 1998, the University of Texas is overall the winningest school since then. Boise State is 1 game behind them, just to give you a little information. But here's why I have a problem with that, and here's why I also have a problem with the fact that Kellen Moore could eventually one day surpass Colt McCoy as the winningest quarterback of NCAA history. Let's start by talking about ranked opponents. I think when you look at the strength of schedule in this BCS system, you base it on teams that are ranked, you base it on teams' records and ball games. Here's something that I was doing some research on the Boise State Broncos, and I came up with that I'm not really pleased about. Since 2006, Boise State has played 3 ranked opponents. In 2009, in the first game of the year, they played Oregon, number 16. In 2008, they played number 17 Oregon. And of course, in 2007, they played number 14 Hawaii at the end of the year. Now, in 2006, the year that they beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, that game was 43-42. Fantastic game. Went into overtime. It was brilliant. Everybody remembers, of course, the trick play there at the end that sealed the deal for them. But check this out. Not one ranked opponent in their schedule. So let's start. First thing that I want to talk about, and I want to be fair, of course, to the little guys. I played at the University of Texas, and I'm very proud of where I went to school. I'm not going to make any apologies for the fact that we play in one of the toughest conferences in the country. It's not our fault that we play in one of the toughest conferences. It's not Boise State's fault that they play in one of the weakest conferences in the WAC. So much so that they've decided to take their program and their institution, as far as football is concerned, to the Mountain West Conference next year. And I think part of that is indicative of their lack of playing ranked opponents. Now, you take it from the last 4 years, include their 3 bowl game opponents that they played that were ranked. You had TCU that they beat last year in the Fiesta Bowl, 17-10, and they played in the Poinsettia Bowl in 2008 against TCU, 16-7 there. TCU upsets them. Played against East Carolina in 07, 38-41. They lost there. And then they came back, and of course in 2006, and that's when they beat Oklahoma. I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't think it's right. We had a bunch of callers this morning that were adamant and told me that I was a Longhorn homer. Told me that I was an elitist, and all that I could see was through the burnt orange shades. Well, try this for thought. Okay, here's just a look at their schedule. Of course, this year they knocked out Virginia Tech. Now they have a bye week before taking on Wyoming on the road. They have Oregon State, which I think will be their next toughest game. Oregon State lost to TCU in a dogfight, but Oregon State probably will fall out of the top 25. So they won't play another top 25 team unless a team like Nevada emerges, unless a Fresno State finds its way to find some success and get into the top 25. On the other hand, you look at the University of Texas. Last year, they played 3 ranked opponents. The year before, we remember the gauntlet that, in my personal opinion, I think it kept them out of the national championship game. 4 ranked opponents. They started off with number 1 Oklahoma, number 11 Missouri, number 7 Oklahoma State, and last but not least, we all remember that game out in Lubbock, number 6 Texas Tech. And 8 seconds away from winning the Big 12 title outright and from getting a national title berth. I know, I'm sorry Longhorn fans, I hate to remind you, but I have to present the facts. In 2007, they played 2 ranked opponents, and in 2006, they played, of course, 3. So that's 5. That's 9. That's 12 ranked opponents in the last 4 seasons compared, that's regular season, compared to Boise State's 3. So it's not fair to sit here and say that Boise State is comparable to a program like, of course, Texas. You even look at a school like Baylor that I'll tell you right now, you tell me how you felt like they would fare on Baylor's schedule. This is crazy. Sam Houston State, Buffalo, okay, fine. At TCU, TCU is a good team. TCU was told by some people out of Fort Worth the best program in Texas. At Rice, I think Rice is going to be a bowl team again this year, and I think Rice is going to prove that they're better than they actually were. That's why I think they hung so close with the Horns. Kansas, Texas Tech at home, at Colorado. You come back for homecoming against Kansas State. Check out these last 4 games. This is the difference between the WAC, which is whack, and the Big 12, which is the Big 12. At Texas, at Oklahoma State, Texas A&M at home, and they finish off with the Sooners. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Boise State wouldn't compete with these 4 teams. The one thing that I will say, though, is how would they fare if they had to face these 4 teams in a row? That's my question, because I do think that Baylor is going to face 4 ranked opponents much like Texas did in 2008. This is the problem I have. Now, and you say, well, it's not their fault. The BCS sat down and created a system, okay? They created the system based on the fact of the top teams, the top programs in the country. Their WAC, which is whack, was not in that equation. It's not the BCS program's faults for being in the BCS, and I won't say that it's Boise State's problem either. They do have control of what conference they're in, and that's one reason why they're moving their services, of course, to the Mountain West Conference, which I think is a smart move. But why wouldn't you go after a conference like the Pac-10? I'm just a little bit confused. And then you have the question, well, why won't the big boys play Boise State? For what? The strength of your schedule is built in your conference play, Dodo. That's the whole point of it. I don't understand. I don't get it. And so I had a confrontation earlier today on air. And if you don't listen to our show, check it out. It's rather entertaining. John Medani, my co-host, has worked for ESPN, covered the Boston Celtics and Orlando Magic game for the 4-Letter Network last year. Phenomenal. I've learned a lot from him. And I don't need to tell you my credentials. I think you know who I am. I'll say this. We know the gauntlet of games that Texas went through in 2008. Look, I'm the official insider, one of the official insiders of the University of Texas football program. I was on the sideline for all 4 of those games. I saw them up close and personal, how Texas battled and fought and almost found itself in a national title for 2 years in a row. I don't think Boise State could do this. I'm not trying to be funny. I don't want to be that guy, but it's about depth. Texas had some injuries. They managed to have the top recruits and some of the best players in the nation backing them up. Here's some food for thought. How many of the recruiting members from, or how many players from this recruiting class for the Longhorns do you think would start for Boise State? Would Baylor win the WAC? Of course they would. Would Texas go undefeated in the WAC? Yeah, you better believe it. So I know I'm on a rant here, but this is what this is for. It's Brooks Blogging. Give me your thoughts at ahmadinthezone@gmail.com. If you want to fight, put up your dukes. I got you, because I'm not backing down. I don't think Boise State deserves a shot in the BCS title game with this schedule and with this current system. Bottom line. Now, I do think that somebody will eventually crack it, and I think Boise State, with 20 returning starters and a plethora of talent, California-based talent, I think they deserve a shot. But you got to play more than 2 ranked opponents, and you got to play more than 6 ranked opponents in 4 seasons, my friend. You are watching Longhorn Station. This is Brooks Blogging. Check it out. I'll be ranting when I need to. And today was a rant day. Check us out tomorrow. What If Wednesday? We'll be out at Whataburger. Palmer and McNeil. Can't miss us. Come out there and have a taquito with us, all right? We'll see you next time.